is the Wrestlebread Podcast, bringing you the latest news, recaps, and analysis of AEW and WWE. Get the unique perspective from a wrestling fan of over 25 years. Here's your host, Jaydee.
What's going on, guys? This is Jaydee, and this is episode 164 of the Wrestlebread Podcast. So first of all, joy to the world because football is back. Sundays are exciting again. And, the Cowboys is done for the year. Not saying that I don't have faith in Cooper Rush, but, once your quarterback gets injured and they're out for, 2 months, apparently he probably won't come back to November. If there is a miracle and somehow we end up with a winning record while he is out, maybe there's a chance, but I'm a realistic person. I think we are out this year. So I feel like we're going to be in the same predicament that we were when Jason Garrett was coach, where, Dak Prescott gets injured. If the season tanks, then, no one can really take blame because the quarterback was injured this many amount of weeks and stuff like that. And it's just a little bit tiring. Bit of a shame because it seems like now Dak Prescott is a bit injury prone. And I just would love to know, with all the people who do not see anything wrong with Dak Prescott, like how they feel now. Because he's starting to break down. So far, week 1 of football, just real quick, pretty good. Very interesting matchups. I couldn't really keep up with all the highlights, so I just mainly watched, I mainly concentrated on the NFC East division and a few matchups that I wanted to see. The Monday Night Football game was crazy. So was the the Pittsburgh Steelers game was crazy as well. Just a lot of crazy games this week. Can't wait for next week. I'm not doing any fantasy football this week or any like FanDuel or anything because I couldn't keep up with all the trades and all this other stuff. Like I completely forgot that Russell Wilson is no longer playing for Seattle Seahawks, which is crazy to me because he's been tied to that team. And very interesting that Geno Smith is the one who's starting. Maybe I really shouldn't talk too much crap about that, but I found that pretty weird. I didn't even really look into the reason why he got traded either. So I'm just reacting to all this. But I am happy that football is back. Fall is coming back. We won't have this heat wave that Philly has been going through for pretty much 90% of the summer. And I'm ready for it all. I am ready for it all. Not ready for the holidays just yet, because gas price is still slightly high. But I am ready for fall at least. So getting into wrestling, a lot has happened last week. We have a lot of falling out, especially with AEW, with the fallout from the media scrum. Everybody was wondering how Tony Khan would react to what happened with the brawl that happened in the locker room. And it looks, from what we saw before Dynamite, Tony Khan, they showed a pre-recorded message from Tony Khan that he has stripped CM Punk from his title, and the trios title was stripped from the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega as well, and that a tournament is set for the AEW Championship, and a match was set up for the trios title, which, I don't know. If I get the AEW Championship, you wanted to do a tournament, things like that. I'm not understanding why we couldn't get the same thing with the trios title, especially if you weren't going to let the team who also kind of fought for it get a shot as well. I understand it's because there were injuries to the Dark Order, stuff like that. They explained that during AEW Dynamite. But I don't know, I just feel like I'm not saying that I am mad that Death Triangle got the titles. I love the fact that Death Triangle got the titles. But I felt as though it could have been handled just slightly differently, especially since we are concentrating on the number system and stuff like that, things like that. I don't know. Truthfully, I didn't even look to see who was the number one contender, who would be the number one contender for the trios titles, but it's definitely a bit weird. The Young Bucks had mentioned that their YouTube, on their with their YouTube channel being the Elite, is actually going to go on hiatus for right now, indefinitely. And then, of course, come all the rumors. First of all, we all know that the dirt sheets cannot be trusted because there's like 20 different rumors going around, 20 different opinions of what's going on as far as with the Young Bucks, and including what's going on with the backstage brawl. That first of all, that someone got bit, chairs were flying, and that someone was fighting to protect their wife, and it's basically like a he said she said of who started the fight first. Did the Young Bucks storm into the locker room? Did they knock politely and said, "Please sir, can we come in and speak"? Who knows? Now there's a rumor coming out that the Young Bucks said that they want to talk to AEW management. One dirt sheet is saying that they sent feelers out to WWE. Another one said that they had asked to speak to someone to WWE management. Someone saying that's not true. Someone saying, this, that, and the third. Who knows? Like I always say, I take these rumors as a grain of salt, but I'm still going to react to the rumor whether it's true and if it's not true. If it is true that the Young Bucks are looking towards WWE, won't make sense that this is happening is this happening based off just the media scrum, or is there something else more going on? Because for them to, and I said the same thing with Cody, for them to walk away from the company that they grew from the ground up, that they wanted to give people a chance, stuff like that, and that they have a lot of opportunities as far as, championships. I mean, they created the trios titles and they are the first trio champions. So, in Kenny Omega had all the titles, first of all, pretty damn near all the titles in every single wrestling promotion except for WWE. Wrestling all around the world. He had a very popular storyline in WWE between him and Hangman Page. The excitement of him versus Bryan Danielson, stuff like that. So I don't think really the issue is as far as with him. He probably understands what's going on. He's concentrated on the release of AEW Fight Forever. I believe he's over in Japan right now, working on promoting the game as well. And as far as with the Young Bucks, I know, and I said this in my previous episode, that they said that there are EVPs and name only, but it's like you have a certain type of responsibility to, as far as with the company, to not act like you're the employees, because you are more employer than employee. And truthfully, to be honest, if the Young Bucks are looking to go to WWE, that's the second and third EVP that is jumping from AEW to WWE. And you have to wonder, like, what is really going on backstage, that whatever is going on with the relationship between the EVPs and Tony Khan, it's not strong enough for them to stay and try to, like, really work things out and come to a compromise from both sides. Because people are like, oh, they can go join Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens and reunite with AJ Styles and stuff like that. But it's like, yeah, but they put their heart and soul into creating this promotion. Just for them to just up and abandon it just to reunite with other people, that don't make sense. You can go to AJ Styles' house and wrestle him in the backyard if you really want to see him, you know? Like, that part don't make much sense to me. But we'll see the story unfolds as far as with the Young Bucks. Not really any say of how long everyone is suspended for. Allegedly, there's a legal proceeding, there's, legal action that's probably going on. So there's not going to be a lot of information as far as people talking about what happened. CM Punk might talk about what happens. His lawyer probably will tell him just shut the hell up and just wait. But I'm interested to see what's going on afterwards. And of course, people are thinking this is a work, it's a shoot, whatever. Seems legit because they got stripped of the titles. I highly doubt that this isn't real, because they just won the titles and the titles got stripped. Makes zero sense for them to do all this if this is purely storyline. This is legit, and like I had said in the previous episode, Tony Khan really needs to get control of the locker room as far as these melees that's going on. I mean, there's more fighting going on backstage than Super Smash Brothers. You know what I mean? So it's just like craziness. And on top of the craziness, definitely a flip between AEW and WWE. AEW was the place that everybody wanted to work at. You're being told by everyone that, oh, everyone's happy here, and it's just so nice to feel loved and heard and appreciated and stuff like that. And you have all this opportune time as far as, TV and things like that, and your voice is heard. And now it's just like people aren't showing up, people asking for releases, people aren't happy, this, that, and the third. And then on the other side is, with Triple H taking over and everything like that, everyone is happy over there. Everyone's frolicking in the flowers and holding hands and blowing bubbles and laying in the grass and watching the clouds go past by type of situation. It's like, even the writers apparently. So there's there's reports that, Triple H, that scripts aren't being torn up anymore and completely rewritten, and that, there is no hurrying up, and, like if it was with Vince McMahon, and Triple H will sit and listen to you and stuff like that, and how everyone is comfortable and stuff like that, and they're happy and they feel excited about everything. And then, of course, Triple H tweeting out the success of Clash at the Castle, which, of course, took place in the UK. He mentioned that this was the number one international premium live event in WWE history as far as viewership, largest European gate ever. As far as fan reaction to, highest rated international premium live event in WWE history. Hashtag WWE Castle trending #1 on Twitter and things like that. He actually forgot to, when he posted this tweet, to tell everyone to watch Raw tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern on USA Network. It's going to be a best Raw ever. He forgot to do that part. But, he's still learning. Maybe he'll get used to it after a while. But yeah, just a lot of happiness all around. Kind of goes to show that sometimes the grass isn't always greener on the other side. The grass may be green, but that bitch about to turn brown in any single moment. Or the grass may not be green on this side, but that's because it didn't rain yet. Just let it rain, give it a little bit of time, and the grass will be super green and comfy, and you can walk around barefooted in the backyard and whatever. But yeah, it's just crazy. Like 2022, wrestling in 2022 is continuing to amaze me. Just when I thought we were done with the craziness, boom. Just when I thought Vince McMahon resigning and stuff, like retiring or whatever it was that they're calling it. Just when I thought that was the end and Papa H taking over, boom, here goes all the craziness with AEW. Boom. CM Punk and the Young Bucks sitting there battling out like Batman versus Superman. Boom, people asking for releases now, wanting to go back to WWE. It's just like, we still got 3 months to go, ladies and gentlemen. Like, I don't know how much more crazier this thing can get. You know what I mean? Like, I fully expect WWE and AEW to announce that they're having a crossover show. Like, if that happens, I actually will not even be that surprised. And I'm like, look, it's 2022. It's a lot of craziness going on. So let's get into the recaps. We're going to start with AEW Dynamite first. Um, we had the return of MJF, of course. MJF coming out. Now, this took place in Buffalo. He came out, you know, pro Buffalo and stuff like that. Josh Allen jersey. I am a Josh Allen fan as well. And it was very weird seeing him as a babyface, you know? And then, of course, Jon Moxley comes out and MJF like completely turns. He goes back to his normally scheduled program. Of course, through WWE's name out there, like saying a lot of trigger words, stuff like that. And I'm like, he said Triple H and he's going to work for the other Nick Khan, and he's going to take the title and, go to WWE and stuff like that. And it was just like, whoa, sir. And he mentioned Cody Rhodes and things like that. And it's just like, whoa. Of course, everyone reacted because we're still in the mindset of WWE that you can't say certain trigger words. And so with him saying Cody Rhodes and Nick Khan and WWE and stuff like that, you sit there and act like you're in church, something like that, like, oh my gosh, you can't say things like that. So very interesting. I just felt like it was very weird seeing him babyface at first. But once he went back to his usual self, it's like, okay. Um, but yeah, him teasing that, he got paid money now and he's going to win the title so he can go through a bidding war in 2024 between AEW and WWE. And I'm here for it all. You know, I hope he gets what he wants if he decides he wants to go to WWE ultimately in the end. Hey, go ahead for it. I know that they wrestle a hell of a lot more than just the once or twice a week that you got to do with AEW. But he's very close to Cody. Cody's sitting there telling him all the great stuff. Sending him pictures of him frolicking in the garden and stuff like that. But I'm I'm happy for him. I hope that he wins the title. I'm very interested to see how that title reign will go. Um, yeah. So we also had the Trios Championship match, Death Triangle versus Best Friends and Orange Cassidy. First of all, I was very happy that Death Triangle won. Of course, Rey Fenix is not a human being. And then seeing Pac win, as well, getting the pin. I think it was on. I forgot who it was on actually. But yeah, seeing Pac the one getting the win. Very happy for them. I liked Death Triangle ever since they came together. Big fan of Pac, and of course, I always loved the Lucha Bros. One of my favorite tag teams today. All time, I was favorite personally. All time, I would say they're top 5. Argue me in the comments all you want, but I would say top 5 as far as Lucha Bros as my favorite tag team. We also had Toni Storm going against Penelope Ford. Look, I am a fan of Penelope Ford. Simply, she's from Philly, so of course there's that. Um, this match was okay. I'm just hoping with CM Punk not around and the Elite not around that maybe Tony Khan will use the energy that he uses on them and puts it towards the women's division because it needs help. It's like it's a couple of breaths away from cardiac arrest. Like, not saying that things are that bad, but it's not even like they're not being booked properly. They just need they're being put in a position that some of the women are not exactly experienced enough for. I feel like I keep saying, in a couple of years, that division will more likely shine. But right now, um, they need help. Whether it's Dan Bryan teaching a whole ass class on wrestling. I mean, you got William Regal there as well, as far as like character work and promos and stuff like that. You have Claudio. You have like there's people there that should be helping these women get more comfortable on TV. And like I always say, for some reason with them, it's like the way that the matches, they don't flow, like the spots aren't flowing fluently like we see with the men. And it's really more apparent in AEW because with AEW, it's a lot of spots, it's a lot of high flying, it's a lot of technical wrestling, stuff like that. And so when you see that and then you go to the women's match, you kind of like have the expectation flowing into with the women's matches as well. And when you're not getting it, you see a bit botches, you see like the pausing to make sure that they're set up correctly for the spot. It kind of takes you away from the match, and I really don't want that for them. I want their matches to be just as good, if and even better than the men's matches. Like everyone talks about Trish Stratus and Lita and Molly Holly and stuff like that. And I want that the same for these women as well. I want them to be put up in a high regard as well. And like we see with Jade Cargill, she's getting help from Bryan Danielson. She's a hell of a lot better than she was when she first started. And quite honestly, there are women who have been wrestling, decades and years longer than her, and they're not even on the same level as her, which, really says something. But I'm just hoping that this gets better as far as with the women's matches. We also have the Grand Slam Tournament of Champions. I believe the finals is going to happen Jay. The finals is going to happen at Grand Slam. That's why he's being called that. Now, AEW kind of messed up a little bit of the production here, because they showed Chris Jericho cutting a promo, and he said when he faces Bryan Danielson next week. And it's like, okay, spoiler, the match didn't happen yet. So, like, they put that promo, I guess the promo was supposed to go after the Dan Bryanson match, and instead they put it before. And so, I mean, obviously it was spoiled. I mean, I hope people, I don't know, I highly doubt people sat there and mention, Bryan Danielson and sat there and said, I wonder if he's just saying Bryan Danielson because that's who he's feuding with. But we had Hangman Page versus Bryan Danielson on one corner. Sammy Guevara and Darby Allin wrestled at Rampage. And then, of course, Bryan Danielson, who won tonight's match, will be going against Chris Jericho. And they will face the winner of Sammy Guevara and Jon Moxley. And so it'll be cool if Bryan Danielson wins here. It's just that yeah, actually this is an interim. I don't know why I was thinking interim. This is actually World Championship. I won't mind Bryan Danielson. I mean, Jon Moxley is already two-time champion. Chris Jericho, I feel as though his feuds and stuff like that are strong enough that they don't need a title. But I won't mind Bryan Danielson winning the title. And I know you're probably sitting there thinking like, wow, Jay, you're gonna have an ex-WWE guy holding the championship again. And it's like, look, I feel like Bryan Danielson, as long as he's been wrestling in WWE, it feels like he is like on top of his game. It feels like he has a second win, that in WWE, it really felt like he was at the end of his career. And here, like weirdly, it feels like he is at his peak. Not saying like he's gonna it's gonna go down anytime soon, but he feels like he just hit the top of the mountain. Like when he came into AEW, like he's just getting right up there. Um, but of course, this was a good match between Hangman Page and Bryan Danielson. Of course, there's not a lot of matches that Bryan Danielson had in AEW that weren't really that good. And it's somewhat the same as Hangman Page. Hangman Page is very good in the ring, very likable character and stuff like that. So I was happy with this match. And then we come to the main event, which is Wheeler Yuta versus Daniel Garcia, which I didn't know was from Buffalo. And they had this rapper come out, and I guess he's the person who does the theme for Daniel Garcia. I had no idea who this guy was. But yeah, Daniel Garcia comes out, crowd pops and stuff like that. And this was a good match between these two. I'm very shocked that Daniel Garcia won. I didn't really expect it. I know that he was in his hometown, and it's kind of hard for someone to lose in their hometown with AEW. But I am shocked that Daniel Garcia had actually won. And then very interesting was that Bryan Danielson comes into the ring. Um, of course, Will Yuta and Daniel Garcia shake hands. The Ring of Honor handshake that they did after the match, and Bryan Danielson comes down and puts the title, straps the title onto Daniel Garcia, and you see Wheeler Yuta kind of sitting there looking in the corner, like looking like, okay, you're like, bro, we're in the same team, and you're sitting here celebrating with the person that just beat my ass. Which made me think like it'd be very interesting if there is a double turn with these two if Daniel Garcia decides to join the Blackpool Combat Club and Wheeler Yuta decides to go with the Jericho Association Appreciation Society, which may not make sense on paper because Chris Jericho concentrating on sports entertainment stuff like that, and it may be a bit silly for Wheeler Yuta to try to like fall into that category with them. But I don't know, it feels like there may be a split with Wheeler Yuta and the Blackpool Combat Society. But all in all, this was a okay Dynamite. Like nothing like jumping up and down. Of course, everybody just wanted to know what was going to happen with the Young Bucks and CM Punk, and then of course what would MJF say as well. So going into SmackDown, so we will no longer have Pat McAfee on commentary for the rest of the year, and that is because he has a gig with ESPN's College Game Day on Saturdays. And so, of course, it probably don't make sense for him to hop on a plane late at night to try to make it to wherever ESPN is at on Saturdays. So he is actually stepping away from the commentary desk for the remainder of the year. And I think college football season ends in December or something like that, I think. Don't quote me on it, but I think that's when it ends. And so he'll be back. I'm definitely going to, miss the dynamic between him and Michael Cole. We have Corey Graves who took over as well in Pat McAfee's place. And so a lot of falling out from Clash at the Castle. Of course, we have Baby Uso who appeared and came out and he sat there and did his little promo and was like, if you have problems, I finish them, and you mess with my family, I'ma mess with you type situation. So we have the Usos now. First, we have the Tribal Chief, we have the Usos, we have Baby Uso, and we have Cousin Uso with Sami Zayn. So, and then of course, Paul Heyman, and then whatever other family members they decide to bring in as well. Definitely, thinking that, I'm definitely anticipating that they may try to bring back Nia Jax. I'm hoping that Tamina, gets put up with them as well. Like when she is her, the serious menacing type, definitely will flow with the bloodline. While yes, the booking of her kind of like damage as far as, oh, could she be champion one day type of situation. But I think if she was aligned with the bloodline and, she starts whipping ass, it can be believable. Definitely can be. We also had Imperium with Imperium is back, first of all, which I'm very happy about. We had a bit of a part of their theme, the original Imperium theme as well. And the Imperium went against the Brawling Brutes, Sheamus, Butch, and Rich Holland, which was a good match. Listen, I will not mind they run back Sheamus versus Gunther at Extreme Rules. They book that, I might buy a ticket just on that alone. We also had Ronda Rousey is now the number one contender for Liv Morgan's title. Ronda Rousey, of course, is going to definitely try to get her revenge. Seems like her and Shayna Baszler are, on the same side. They came together and Ronda promised to get revenge on Liv Morgan on behalf since Shayna Baszler had lost at Clash of the Castle. Very interesting. We also had the Street Profits and Hit Row versus Los Lotharios, and I probably said that completely wrong. I keep forgetting how to pronounce that. But Angel Garza and Roberto Carlito and the Maximum Male Models. Now I am happy that they have a feud because I was wondering how it translates in the ring. And it's kind of like what I expected. It's pretty guys wrestling in a match, like pretty much like the male versions of Carmella, where it's like, oh, don't touch my face type of situation. And Hit Row is paired up with the Street Profits, which makes sense because definitely you feel something missing with Isaiah Swerve Scott not being there. Like I said this previously before, probably many times, but Swerve really made that group what it was. And so without him there, and I get it, you want to give the people from Hit Row a chance to shine. And I'm not one to sit here and say that, someone should lose their job or, why did they bring them back? Like, I'm interested to see how they're going to make the maximum profit with them because they definitely have a missing piece. You can feel it. But I guess them teaming up with the Street Profits, doing segments with them, stuff like that, will help. It will definitely help. We also had Drew McIntyre versus Solo Sikoa. Solo with his first match on SmackDown going against Drew McIntyre. And we had the Usos and Cousin Uso interfering and things like that. Of course, Solo is good in the ring, so I knew that he was going to have a pretty good match. And then we had a appearance from Karrion Kross, who interfered in the match, caused the DQ, and he had, first of all, I love the effect of the screen going black and white. I love that, first of all. And I love the fact that, first of all, I don't know why, it was very unique. While Karrion Kross had Drew McIntyre in the straight jacket, I think that's what it's called. Scarlett was like right there looking at Karrion Kross and Drew McIntyre. She was rubbing Karrion Kross's shoulders at one point and sitting there just pretty much telling Drew McIntyre to give it up and go to sleep. I thought that was very unique. I don't recall like I don't want to call her valet, but back in the day they were called valets. Valets are managers being that close to, someone that close to the person who they're managing, putting a submission lock on there. Normally, the manager is standing over the person who they're going against, and they're sitting there telling them off and pointing the finger in their face, stuff like that. But she was right there. Like, she lowered herself. She was on her knees, looking on and stuff like that. That kind of don't sound right, but she was looking on and everything like that. She was like rubbing his shoulder and things like that. And I was like, this is very unique. I don't recall seeing something like that before. So, kudos to them. I'm very excited to see their entrance, once they get to a match. I'm guessing we're going to have them at Extreme Rules. If we are, I might buy a ticket. And I know you're going to hear me keep saying that for a while. Because when it comes to the events, I normally buy a ticket last minute when they're a little cheaper and stuff like that. But because Extreme Rules is coming to Philly, and I would like to go, especially with Triple H in charge, and the fact that they did the whole spiel with Paul Heyman. So I'm guessing Paul Heyman's going to return at that point, maybe somewhat, I'm hoping. But it's just the fact that in Philly, all of our stadiums are in South Philly, deep South Philly, like the edge of fucking South Philly. And I live on the complete opposite side. And so it'll be a lot easier if our stuff was downtown, like some other cities are. Because when I went to New Orleans, their stadium is downtown. Like, you can stay at a hotel, boom, go right there in downtown. But for us, and I know they're trying to put the Sixers arena in downtown, which, is okay, but, it's whatever. But, once you leave out of any event, it is like damn near midnight, and you have to trek it home. And if you're driving, you're stuck in traffic and stuff like that. And then they have the public transportation, which is pretty quick, but still you're out there late at night. And I don't know if you know the news that's been going on in Philly. Philly is not the place to be out and about after 10 o'clock, the latest. Once you pass that, you're looking at, possibly getting carjacked or something crazy going on. And I don't feel for that. But I want to go to Extreme Rules. You know what I mean? I want to go to Extreme Rules. And it's not like you can like catch a hotel nearby and stuff like that. There's no hotels near our stadiums. Like, if you're staying at a hotel, you're traveling still. You could try to take an Uber, good luck to you getting out afterwards. But yeah, it's a pain. So for those who are thinking about coming to Philly for Mania, just watch out, yo. Watch out, man. Be prepared to either drive or having to take our public transportation like at midnight. I'm still more likely gonna go to Mania though, because it's 40th. For my 40th birthday, and it gets no bigger. Like, it is meant for me to go to WrestleMania at that time. I know I went on a long tangent on that, but I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't mind seeing Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross. For Extreme Rules, I wouldn't mind that at all. And then, oh yeah, we also have the return of Braun Strowman to. I don't like the way he came back. I liked the tag team match that was going on, and for him to just come in and just bum rush everyone except for Chad Gable. Props to him for being smart about it. To know to hop. If you see someone coming at you, you hop out of the way. You hop out of the way. So kudos to Chad Gable for, being able to escape in the horror movie and not being the person that trips over a stick and fall and come to the, to the killer. That's my analogy here for the night. So getting into Raw that we had last night. First of all, we have more between Dexter Lumis and The Miz. And I'm hearing that people kind of don't like what's going on with Dexter Lumis. I feel like it's because they're not understanding what Dexter Lumis is. Dexter Lumis is a silent version of Stone Cold. If Stone Cold existed back in the 1920s or whatever, when there was no talking, that's who Dexter Lumis would be. That is the perfect explanation of him. Like he's going to pretty much stalk you. He's going to do some weird shit behind the scenes and stuff like that. Traumatize people and stuff. Pretty good in the ring as well. Just give it time, let it breathe, don't hate it or hate him so quickly. Very talented as far as drawing and stuff like that too. But I was intrigued by the vignette, the not the vignette, but the segment that happened at the Miz's home, and you see that Dexter Lumis is in the house with the kids, with the girls, which I guess was left by either the mother-in-law or a babysitter or something. But I am very interested to see what's going to happen here. So then, and I know it may get a little weird because it's Dexter Lumis is left inside the house with two little girls. I know that's pretty weird. But I'm going to hold my breath that this gets better, that we get what we that we will figure out what it really is and understand it. We also have new women's tag team champions. Damage Control got the win over Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah, which I'm very confused about because I don't understand why they didn't win the titles from the get-go from the tournament. I'm guessing they did it just so they can do the 6-women tag, which could have still happened because the women's tag team titles were not defended at Clash at the Castle either. Like, you easily have done the 6-woman tag with them being champions. But I guess they wanted to do it just to give Raquel and Aaliyah time to shine or something like that. You could have had this feud still going on, though. So I'm not understanding why we did all that. We also had Johnny Gargano wrestling his first match on Raw. Pretty good. He was going against Chad Gable, which is like, whoa, sir. I need Triple H to just calm down a little bit. Don't give us all this good stuff all at once. I don't think we all can handle it. But definitely a really good match between Johnny Gargano and Chad Gable as well. We also had Bianca Belair defending her title. She had an open challenge for a title. Sonya Deville answered it. It was alright. It is what it is. Of course, Bianca Belair retained. I don't know when we're getting this feud between her and Bayley. If they're trying to push it out to Royal Rumble time or something. Or are we trying to make this happen next month? We need to make the decision as far as what is Bianca's actual feud here. And then, of course, we come to the moment of the night. Dominik Mysterio letting us know that he is a bad boy. He is not Ray's baby boy anymore because he got a new daddy. And they did this promo for Dominik. And he tried. Like, I give it to people who are, like, so nice that when they try to be a heel, like, it's not natural to them. Like, they don't know how to just... like Emperor Palpatine says, just let the evil flow through you, just let it all flow, And for some reason, I don't know, Dominik feels like he's one of them kids that decided to join the cool crowd and is getting peer pressure into bullying like a smart kid or something. That's exactly how it feels. Definitely the little promo that they had definitely gave me it was definitely like anime queen, like R&B ballad from the 90s type of vibe. And then of course you see Rhea whisper something in his ear, and then he sat there and said, "I'm no longer your baby boy, I'm a grown man." I'm like, look at Dominik acting like he just got the first girlfriend as a teenager. Like, geez Louise, kid. Read a book, watch YouTube or something. Like, geez. And then, he came out and you see Ray trying to like convince him not to, turn back to the good side and stuff like that. And like I had said, Dominik found, the old footage of WWE on Peacock. Like he finally paid the subscription, looked it up. Oh, because since his dad is on the cover of WWE 2K22, he probably decided, let me look up, my dad's best matches of his career and stuff like that. And oh, I've heard so much about Eddie Guerrero. Let me look up his feud with Eddie Guerrero. And then he looks and he says, whoa, I remember being there, but I don't remember it was a custody match. And then finding out that your real dad is Eddie Guerrero, I would be mad as hell too, because I'd be like, look, you've been training me and I have been subpar my wrestling skills, and come to find out I'm a Guerrero? Like, what are you doing here? You're holding me back. Kick to Edge nuts. Let him stare in my eyes as he fall. Oh, massive clothesline to my so-called dad, my adoptive dad. So, he needs to feed off of that. Let the hate flow through you. You know what I mean? Gotta feed off of that. But overall, very interesting week in wrestling. It's mainly the shit that's been going on outside of wrestling that has made the week like as more confusing and like drama filled itself. Um we are working towards Extreme Rules. I do know that AEW Dynamite's coming to Philly. I don't think I'm going to that. Now, first of all, if you've never been to a Dynamite show, go. It's a very fun crowd. If you like going to indie shows where there's like fun chants and stuff like that and a lot of things going on, especially if you live in a city where wrestling is cool, you'll have fun. It's just the fact that it's a lot of wrestling in one night and it's on a Wednesday and a lot of us gotta work in the morning. And so if you get there early enough, like I guess like at 7, they're filming either Dark or Dark Elevation, and then it's Dynamite, and then it's like maybe a 15-20 minute type of downtime, and then they film Rampage. And by the time you're getting out and trying to go home, it's like midnight. And you're tired and exhausted. Not to mention after Rampage, they do a little segment with the live crowd after the cameras turn off to kind of like send everyone home happy. The time that I went, they brought out Taz, Jerry Lynn, Dean Malenko, and I forgot who else. It was one other person. And Tony Khan was out there. And they was talking about ECW and stuff like that. And then, of course, CM Punk comes out and make the joke how he was ECW champion. But yeah, it was a lot of wrestling. I was tired. My son was happy because he didn't have to go to school next day. I told him, just stay home. Like, I got you home at midnight. This one's on me. You just stay home. But yeah, I was tired. I'm up there in age where my sleep schedule is precious to me. I can do the 3 a.m., but my body will let me know, like, you're going to pay for this. I'll be good for like the next 3 days and whatnot. I can stay up to like 3 o'clock in the morning. And then the next day stay up till like 3 o'clock in the morning and then go back to my regular schedule program for like 5 days. And then for some reason on the 6th day, I will be like dead tired 2 in the afternoon. My body like, yeah, remember them 3 o'clock in the mornings? Yeah, we're getting back our time now. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But if you're going to Dynamite, definitely go. It's pretty fun. It's definitely a lot of fun. But yeah, like I said, interesting things is going on outside of what we see on TV. We're working towards Grand Slam as far as who's going to be the AEW champion. We're working towards Extreme Rules. I'm guessing, well, it seems like we're going to get Seth Rollins versus Riddle coming, part 2, which I am completely happy about. Their match at Clash of the Castle was pretty good. And I'm very happy that the intensity in this match matched the intensity in the promo. I'm hoping we get Gunther versus Sheamus again. Look like we're going to get Karrion Kross versus Drew McIntyre. So it looks like Extreme Rules is going to be very exciting. I am interested to know who is going to go against Roman Reigns. Is Roman Reigns going to be gone until the Royal Rumble, which I kind of hope he doesn't. But his absence for like the few weeks before Clash at the Castle, they mainly concentrated on the IC title and the European title, which is, I mean, not the European, the US title, which, I'm completely fine about, let the mid-card titles feel important again. And then when Roman Reigns comes back, it's kind of like a special attraction. Very similar to how Brock Lesnar was. Because, we all know that Roman Reigns he's going part-time. It is time for him to sit at home with his kids and his wife. But I am interested to see who he's going to go against. And when is he going to lose his title? Now, definitely looks like he's going to hold on to this title until WrestleMania. Of course, the biggest rumor is him going against his cousin, The Rock. And I'm guessing The Rock is going to lose here. Like, I don't understand if The Rock wins here, what happens next? You're not coming back every single week, sir. I know you're going to drop the title. More likely, The Rock is going to debut the new belt or belts. And then he's going to just walk off and film the next movie. Or he's going to defend them and then drop them to someone. Or even 2 people. Who knows what's going on now. Everything is in a crazy. I don't know what's going on in the Papa H era. But it's something that can definitely happen. But yeah, I'm interested to see who's the next opponent and what's the end game here. What else? And then, of course, finding out who Bianca Belair is going to be going against as well. And also on AEW's side, who is Tony Khan going to be going against? And as far as with Jade Cargill as well. Like, I figured that Chris Statlander would be the one to really... I would say, I did say take the title from her. Or at least, like, really, like, get her on the edge of, almost beating her. But it's with her being out due to the unfortunate injuries that she had occurred. Like, I don't know where we're going from here. What are we doing? I need Tony Khan to just figure things out. I know his plate might be a little full, seeing as though, football is back again and stuff like that, but he needs to write this stuff down, come up with a plan A, B, and C. Because who knows what's going to happen next with the craziness that's going on. But that's it for the Wrestlebread podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Shout out to Julian Rob Bass from Wrestling Court Podcast and AlternativeLines.com. Keita and Jay from the Keita and Jay Show, which celebrated their seventh year anniversary. So shout out to them. Happy 7 years. Chris from We Talk Next podcast, which is featured on the Keita and Jay Show. Dando and Larry from Half K Podcast. Devin Hafiz from Clark Street Wrestling Podcast. Special shout outs to Circle Debate, Straight Talk Wrestling. Definitely check out Straight Talk Wrestling. They just did an interview. The mini host did an interview with Mia Yim, so definitely check that out. And also shout out to Top Rope Wrestling Talk as well. Coming up next week, we are gearing towards Grand Slam and Extreme Rules. We're going to see more developments as far as what the rivalries are going to be slowly looking like. We're kind of like in that bit of a dead period with WWE where things are just winding down and we are just slowly setting things up for when WrestleMania season comes around. And then with AEW, it's just Tony Khan needs to get that shit together with his backstage. And I don't know if the disappearance of CM Punk and the elite is kind of like making people feel more comfortable, or if there's more people that's going on. But Tony Khan definitely needs to do something. You need to show some type of assertiveness, sir. You have to do something. But be sure to hop on Twitter and follow me at JDC137. That's JAYDEE, the letter C137. And follow the podcast at Wrestlebread as well. Be sure to click the links in the profile for the Instagram, the Facebook, the YouTube channel as well. Be sure to like and subscribe and comment too. But let me know your thoughts. How do you feel about what's going on with the situation with CM Punk and the Elite? Who do you think Roman Reigns should be going against? Is he going to wrestle at Extreme Rules, or will we not see him again until probably either the Saudi show or Survivor Series? Who knows? And who do you think should be the next AEW champion? But let me know your thoughts. Let me know how you feel about it. And until next time, guys, peace.